Just about everything that I've done and accomplished in my life has been for the sole purpose of getting validation from women and attracting women. Now, I'm being completely candid and honest with you, and I've said something similar to this in the past, but as I talk to more guys and I examine my own motives and I examine my own depression and my lack of motivation that had happened in the last couple of years but is coming back full force now, I've realized this to be true. I've realized that it's just impossible to escape this truth. And I know that saying this sort of makes Bulldog mindset seem, I want to say a sham, but seems not genuine. Like, you know, I get that. But if you listen on, I think I can break it down for you to a point where you understand that it's most likely what you're doing as well. And there's really no shame in that. But there is a better place, and I'm finding it now, and that's why it's been so hard for me lately, right? So to give my story, right, if you don't know it, I mean, most of you guys do, but if you're new here, I grew up as a kind of dorky, nerdy kid. I mean, the first time I kissed a girl, I must have been, 19 or 20 years old. First time I had sex was definitely like 20 years old. I didn't really know success with women. I got married, actually at 21. And part of the reason was because, wow, hey, I got a girl, you know, it's like, and towards the end of that marriage, it was, I'm not gonna go into the details of everything, but let's just say that I felt that there was a lot of emotional abuse that was going on that really wasn't good. It wasn't a good environment for me. And again, it's not to say that I don't take any fault in that. If I were the guy that I was today, things would have definitely turned out differently. You know, I was a pushover, I was a nice guy. I didn't understand the masculinity. I didn't understand the things that I teach in Bulldog Mindset. That's why Bulldog Mindset was created, right? It was not a sham. It was literally what I was learning and what I was discovering about myself and trying to teach to myself, right? I've said it many times that the videos were my psychologist, and now it's kind of back full circle on this channel. But anyway, so towards the end of that, when I wanted to get out, I didn't do the right thing. I started learning game, I started learning pickup. Suddenly, I had the one thing in the world that I wanted most. I was attracted to women, right? Where I worked out, my physique was on point, I was making money. I mean, the money part didn't really matter, but I went out and I started picking up girls, and I was cheating on my wife. And I should have just left, right? But there's a lot of reasons why I didn't do that. A lot of them were financial. A lot of them were because I didn't really want to just break up the family. You know, I don't want to go into all the details there. I know I'm going to be judged by not going into all the details, but suffice to say, if you want the longer story, that's a video for another day. But that's what happened, okay? And what was crazy about that, and that's why also, when you go back to the glory days of Bulldog Mindset, that's why it was so powerful, right? Because even though I wasn't making videos saying that I was picking up girls, that's what I was doing. And that's what was my motivation. And that's why I worked so damn hard to run marathons and build my physique and build my business and learn Stoic philosophy and learn the psychology of women and all of these things, that kickboxing, all this stuff, right? Grow my Instagram. It's like, you know, the more popular I got on Instagram, the more of that validation I got, the better I felt about myself. I was getting the thing that the younger version of me needed the most, right? Now, through that journey, did I start to self-validate? Yes, I did, okay? I did start to, you know, there comes a point when you're like, oh, yeah, this is dumb. Like, I've slept with this many women. Women find me attractive. Women are like calling me up and trying to do anything to get with me. And, you know, I'm not trying to brag, but it was like, it was an ego valid. I was like, okay, I got it. Like, I got what I needed, you know what I mean? And so at that point, I was able to start self-validating, right? I was able to start saying, oh, okay, I'm doing this more for me. Now, underlying that was still that motivation, right? Still all the things I was doing. And so that kind of brings us up to what happened, right? So I met my now wife, Nicole, right? And we hit it off. She was incredible. I had no plans on getting into any kind of committed relationship, especially because of what I was doing. And also, I was at the top of my game. I was like, man, this is the life. Like, I just, I was doing a lot of wrong things, but I was having a lot of fun, and I was having a lot of success, and I couldn't see myself doing anything different. But when I met Nicole, she was so awesome. Just exactly what the younger version of myself wanted, that provided it all in one place, right? And I also had my own validation at this point. And so it was sort of like that fantasy, that fairy tale. And I met the woman and I was like, oh shit, now it's too late, right? Now I'm like, if I have to explain to her my real situation, tell her the truth, oh God, this is gonna be a mess. But yeah, that's what happened, and I ended up eventually jumping ship, eventually burning the boats and saying, all right, let me take this risk here. Let me go ahead and do this. And long story short, I told her the truth. I actually ended up moving to Florida for a time, and we got together, and now we're married, okay? And even though this was like the best thing that ever happened to me in my life, right? My dream girl, and she still is just crazy about me. Like, I never had a woman be that into me, that insanely into me, and it just seems like it's just more and more, I still fought some depression. I had a lot of depression, right? If you go through the whole story, I even tried to get back with my ex-wife. It's a lot of mess there, right? A lot of stuff that just, I'm not gonna go into all the details now because that's not really relevant to this video. But suffice to say that a lot of what happened too was I lost my motivation. It went to zero. I was like, what? So some of it was a depression and just a shakeup and the loss of identity. But a big part of it, when I'm actually coming to terms with this and realizing the truth of it and telling you guys the truth of it, which I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for, because man, the internet is so fucking cruel. Every time I reveal vulnerable information about myself, there are guys just ready to get a 2x4 and smack me with it, either now or some point in the future. So you know what, I don't care. Like, go for it. Like, you don't have the balls to do what I'm doing, to talk about what I'm talking about, to talk about your deepest, darkest secrets. So that's what I got to say about that. But anyway, back to the story. I got to this point where I tried to fake it, right? And you saw this in Bulldog Mindset. You saw me trying to fake it, right? You saw me trying to make videos, and I started a financial freedom program, and that went well. But you could tell my heart wasn't in it, right? And then I made these super high quality videos, and that was kind of fun. But I tried to run races, and I ran an ultra marathon, but I didn't even finish it. It just my heart was not, I just didn't have the motivation. And when I really examine it, again, when I'm being really honest with you about it, it was because I was happily married. There was no women I don't want attention from women. I didn't want to hook up with women. I didn't want to chase that. And so I really had no reason for going to the gym, for running, for working hard and building my business and reading books and improving my mindset and improving myself, right? Aside from the one thing that I will say is that there were some aspects of myself that I wanted to improve. That being with Nicole, she makes me want to be a better man. And that actually turned out to be more in the emotional development area, right? It's not that I need to go run and prove all these things and be the most jacked and have the best physique in the world, right? Which was what the motivation was before. But now it's like, okay, like I want to be a better man. I want to show up better. I want to give this woman a better life and a better relationship. And that's actually why I made such great improvements in that area and got into the relationship coaching, which I enjoy doing today. So time to turn around again. All right, so where are we going with all that? So yeah, so that's what happened, right? And that's why, like, I couldn't figure it out for a while. I'm like, what's going on? Am I depressed? Am I, it's like, I lost my identity. I'm trying to find myself. Where's the old Bulldog mindset? And, in the back of my head, I'm like, John, it's because you can't chase tail anymore. And it's like, and I didn't want to admit that. I didn't want to say that because a couple of reasons. One, I didn't want to admit to myself because it seems kind of pathetic. And also, like, does that mean that that's what I want to do? And also, would my wife think that? Is that like, but that's not the case. That's not what I want to do. I have no urge to do that. I love the relationship I'm in. I love my wife. I'm happy, okay? Beyond, whatever I could have expected, right? It's wonderful, amazing, right? So what was it? It was that the motivation that I had was in order to achieve that thing. It was that artificial motivation based on getting the validation and attracting women, because that was my deepest insecurity for my life. And so now that kind of brings us to present day, right? As I'm discovering this, I'm finally admitting this and realizing this, and I've got the motivation back. It's coming back, right? And I've had to dig deep to find that, because now it really is for me. Now it really is about me. And there was some small period too where, and there was a part of it where it was like, I also just felt disappointed because I need to be who I was. Like, all these people were looking up to me, and what happened, John? You're a fraud now. Like, there's like living up to your own reputation, which is, I don't wish that upon anyone. Living up to your own reputation is probably the worst hell that a person can be in. It's so much pressure. So you feel so bad. It's so shitty about yourself, But what I found now, in admitting that and realizing the truth of that, is that, like, I just finished my run. My physique it's not, perfect, but it's pretty damn good, right? It's getting back there. I'm making super high quality videos on the other channel. Heck, I'm recording a video like this, which, when's the last time I recorded an honest video? Like, not really deep, honest videos. It's been hard to do, right? So all that stuff is coming back because I now am self-motivating. I'm doing this stuff for me, right? Not to say I don't do stuff for my wife. Obviously I want to stay in shape and, but that's not my motivation. I know she's going to love me no matter what. And of course I, will give her the best life possible. But at the same time, what I'm saying is that I'm literally doing this stuff because it makes me feel good to accomplish it. That's why some people are like, stop spending all this time editing videos. I like it. I enjoy it. I feel good about it. I'm making cool stuff that I enjoy making. And it feels good to do that, And it's like, John, stop saying all this stuff and losing all your audience on Instagram. And so I truly want to tell you guys to sack up and be men and be better men. And that's my message. And I don't care. I don't need to say the thing that's popular just for the views. So I'm a work in progress, I'd like to say, I made it. No, I haven't made it yet, but I'm getting there. I'm recovering from that. But the first step was admitting that really was the motivation of most of my life. If I really, really am honest about it. And you're probably in the same boat. Maybe you're not, but if you really think about it, I think you'll find that that's just where most guys are. I've been coaching guys for a long time. I hear this. I figure this out. And so it feels good, though, to know there is a way that you can actually be motivated by other things, that you can do the things because it makes you feel good about yourself. And this is what I had been preaching in Bulldog Mindset, and I thought I was living by it, and to some degree I was. So it's not like I was just being a phony, but I just hadn't fully actualized it, because even though I was saying those things and I knew those things at a conscious level, subconsciously I was still going after tail. I was still chasing women, and that was still what I was doing. I was still getting success in that area, and that was, it's easy to say those things, like to seek internal validation when you're getting external validation, but it's not easy to do when you're not. So if you're a man, if you're watching this, right, obviously, that's the ultimate quest. That's the ultimate journey, is to get to a point of self-actualization where you're doing it for the right reason. You're doing the stuff for you. because it's who you are, because you feel good about it, because it makes you feel like the man. And it doesn't require any kind of validation from outside. It's only your own internal validation. And hey, if you want to join me on this journey, we'll get there together. You know? And if you're in a relationship right now and it's not going so good, I promise I can help you out. Shoot me an email, john@bulldogmindset.com. I'm taking about 10 guys right now to do some relationship coaching, and a lot of it is developing yourself as a man and figuring these things out. But there you go.